now voting in Seshego Township. He's at one of the schools there casting his ballot, and certainly, unsurprising that he will vote in his hometown there, Simpiwe. We're expecting Julius Malema, of course, to give a show of force, I guess, within the area where he grew up. We know that there was a rousing welcome for him in Seshego a bit earlier on.
And the fact that,
there, yes.
And the fact that Limpopo is an EFF stronghold, it should be smooth sailing for the EFF, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I think, as new players in the field, the EFF does not have experience in terms of running municipalities or in terms of service delivery. But at this point, we would want to see what will take place. But more coming up at 1:30 is a struggle stalwart, Winnie Madikizela Mandela, who will vote at 1:30. As you can see there, EFF leader Julius Malema is now casting his vote there in Seshego Township in Polokwane at the Mponengele Primary School. Well, in the past, Malema's appearance has been, a much anticipated spectacle, with residents of what many would say is a quiet town, eagerly waiting to catch a glimpse of what many would refer to as the Red Berets leader. And of course, roads leading up to Polokwane and Seshego on Wednesday night, we understand, were abuzz with motorists, coming to cast their votes in the hometowns of Limpopo. Certainly one of the much watched leaders here today. Of course, we brought you majority of those here on SABC News. Simply where, many of these leaders, of course, making that appearance, setting an example, I guess, for the millions who are encouraged to go out and vote there today. You see Julius Malema engaging there with, some of the residents there in Seshego.
Yeah, and the EFF, I must say that they've made great stride. I mean, in just under 3 years, they managed to reach the milestone that they've reached. And we've also seen EFF leadership visiting former President Thabo Mbeki at his home on Monday. And that visit was followed shortly by the ANC Gauteng leadership, even though they did maintain that that visit was planned before the EFF visit. And at the end of it all, President Thabo Mbeki did say that his vote is his secret, and he did not come out in the clear as to who he's going to vote for.
Well, those are live pictures coming out from Seshego in Polokwane, where the EFF leader Julius Malema is casting his vote at the Mponengele Primary School. We understand, of course, in this much anticipated 2016 local government election, and certainly that area, as we've been monitoring with our reporters who've been in that area, it's been quite a hive of activity. You can see some of the journalists there waiting, to get that
glimpse of Julius Malema.
Absolutely, and those interviews that come after Simpiwe.
And a short while ago, the EFF did say that should a party not emerge victorious, or should they not claim an outright majority, I mean, the EFF is open for coalition, but then that coalition will come with very strict conditions, even though they did not specify what those conditions were. But then they're open for coalition if a particular party does not win an outright majority in any local municipality.
Also there, I'm sure you're able to see just behind Julius Malema there, that picture with the coat there, Julius Malema's wife as well, also casting her vote at the very same location, just right there next to Julius Malema. That is his wife, of course, many have described as a support structure. Of course, you'd know that the EFF, we've got to keep reiterating the very first time participating in these elections. So certainly, all the promises in terms of the manifestos that we saw, the promises in wooing those votes for people to go out, I guess, and vote for the EFF. We'll have to see how all of that will come to fruition at the end of all of this, and once those votes are certainly counted.
And it remains to be seen whether the EFF will maintain its momentum it had in 2014 in the national elections, wherein they claimed the spot of being the third biggest party in the country after having been formed in just a year. And we'll see as to if they will indeed claim that momentum yet again in this year's local municipalities.
Well, certainly looks quite jovial there. Reporters jostling for some space to get that picture of the EFF leader, Julius Malema. We see our reporter there as well, and Janji Chauke in the thick of things, I guess, waiting. Julius Malema is expected to come out of the Mpongele primary school in the next few minutes. It's hoped, I guess, that he will address the media. Well, without a doubt, I guess, he will address the media like every other leader of the political parties, which we've been covering for you here on SABC News. Quite a hive of activity there, Simpiwe. There he's emerging from the Mpongele primary school, and let's take a listen, to what he will tell reporters after casting his vote.
They came out in their numbers. We still expect a lot of people to come because it's an important election, highly contested election which has attracted the international community, and we are hopeful that our people will understand that this might be much better than 1994, and therefore their coming out in their numbers is very important.
How do you think the EFF will perform in the election?
Well, the EFF will perform very well. Remember, this is the first election for the EFF in the local government.
Yes.
So even if they get one seat, they've done very well. From 0 to 1 is an achievement. Mm-hmm. So that's the beauty about the EFF in the whole election. But we've put up a good fight. And it ends here. It's now in the hands of South Africans. Maybe the election came. And now we must release South Africans to go and work for their country, because they've been divided along political allegiances. And finally we are doing this, and I hope tomorrow we'll be able to continue with our work and continue to build South Africa.
A lot of people who came are elderly people. Are you concerned about the young people not being seen in large numbers?
No, you know them. They like things that are done very late. They take their time. They will come out. They did the same during registration. In the early hours of the morning, they are not there, but towards the end, they will come out and come and vote. Young people in South Africa are not apathetic. They are politically active, and the EFF has mobilized them. So we have no doubt that they will come out in their numbers.
You and other oppositions cried foul ahead of this. As you've experienced it now, and do you have any concerns?
No, well, the election process is very smooth. The only concern I had was how the voting booth was positioned, because the people, it gave an opportunity for people to stand behind the voter, and that compromises the secrecy of that ballot and that vote. So I'm going to be raising it with our party agent, to raise it with the electoral officer, that ordinarily when you vote, no one must stand behind you, because it compromises the secrecy of our vote. So if they can just turn the voting booth so that no one stands at the back of a voter. And they said no, they do that because they don't want people to take selfies of their votes and all that. But more than selfies, the secrecy of a vote is very important. Yeah.
You complained about the ANC playing dirty during the campaign period. Now that it's election day, what is your observation so far from the other?
Well, they are continuing to dish out T-shirts on an election day. It's unethical. All of us were done at 12 o'clock midnight. And then that is a person who says, Asina valo. Ana valo ganjani when you are issuing out T-shirts on an election day. You are scared. You are cowards. Those who have done their work are relaxed now. They are walking around voting stations with their grannies, not with T-shirts. We are walking around with our grannies and our wives, because we are not panicking. Mm-hmm. We know that we have done our work. We are not political rascals. We respect the voter. Let the voter come and exercise their right without any form of intimidation by anyone. all of us, we concluded at 12 o'clock.
What
You
do you
came
think
with
is
your
the unique
grandmother
selling
and your
point
wife. What-
about the EFF, and what is your comment regarding the continued standoff in Vuwani?
Well, the people of Vuwani must do the right thing and go and vote. It is ANC people who know that they are not going to be mayors after the elections because Vuwani is no longer under Makado. The mayor of Vuwani is central in destabilizing that area. Remember, there was a councillor who got arrested there of the ANC. So it's more of an ANC matter than...
Live from Limpopo, Seshego Primary School. That's where the leader of the EFF, Julius Malema, has just cast his ballot.